What would happen if our Earth was absorbed into the Imperium? This is quite a common question on the various Warhammer subreddits, and I've seen many answers over the years, some ranging from absurd, such as our technology would be deemed heresy and destroy us, to our technology is vastly more advanced and the galaxy will end. Though these are from people who still misunderstand the scope of Warhammer 40,000 and are not to be taken as a solid measure. They're just some things I have seen. Now, to start with, I'm going to be making a scenario where our current Sol system is just a tailor-made Dark Age of technology replica. And this is, just considering the capabilities of those in the Golden Age of humanity, I would expect far more. So, this is a completely artificial star system, essentially, or rather a tailored one, something that was very close, and they fix it so it is almost exact. Anyway, we're going to assume our system is still intact as it is right now. No threats other than the standard natural phenomena, and no major incursions like Chaos, Xenos, or such yet. This means, right off the bat, we have an inhabited, functional, and resource-rich system that is able to be exploited. Asteroids, planetoids, gas giants, numerous terraformable worlds. This system is ripe for exploitation given the level of technology that the Imperium has. And it has plenty of inhabitants to do it all. All it needs is the technology, guidance, and introduction, something of which the Administratum and the Mechanicus would be more than overjoyed to give. There might be some jurisdictional overlay, but either way, there's enough people here who'd be willing. Anyway. So, to start the scenario off completely outside of that introduction, we'll start with what the Imperium would get out of this solar system, our solar system. And with so many raw resources, the primary asset would be their new life forms. Now, I understand that the urge to make the claim that the Imperium would just hive Earth, and while I think it would most likely just leave it alone and instead of focus on the space and just do that, go on to space. In this fashion, I see some of our problems. But I also see some of the things like our system becoming a nexus point. There's so many raw resources, such outward potential, and it makes for an exciting, rapid expansion outwards. The historical perspective would also be interesting to the Mechanicus, because of what we have and what we have around us. They would most likely value the history and technological marvels at equal value because, well, they don't exactly have the device to do this yet, so they're going to have to look at the after effects. Without the device itself, they just have to theorize. But this would actually give an intact snapshot of the Sol system as it was so many millennia ago. This would give them a ton of data to pore over. The next primary focus would be our gas giants, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. They'd be excellent points for producing and distributing fuel, given their composition. I could also see that, similarly to the 40k version of Sol, I would be imagining massive shipyards. Due to the fact that they have their own natural rings, it would also be logical to conclude that they would be expanding similarly. They would either have their own version of the iron rings in place or put on there or prepared to be put on there. And I can easily imagine construction yards becoming a common sight. I'd also see massive assets being moved in rather quickly to prepare for a new supply chain. Now back to the main assets of people. I think it's best to distinguish the two different types of people here. There are the common dregs you can find in 40k. Now there's a lot of them, and there's also a lot more saturation. I can grant them that. And then there's our world. Now, like many modern to advanced worlds in 40k, our education allows us to be more than capable of understanding nuclear technology, plasma reactors, basic mathematical skills as well. So we would probably have a higher output. Compared to worlds in 40k, which generally have to do this by bringing up people from worlds that are still kind of stuck in what we would call the 1300s to 1800s. Now, while modern to advanced worlds in the Imperium are not really rare, they are still in such wide demand that they could be considered a relative ease and skilled labor. So we would be much more suited to understanding how nuclear technology, plasma technology, basic things like that would work, and we would be easier to transition into these new roles and these new demands. Our source of standardized education is a pretty heavy boost just because it's part of our culture. I mean, that's even across the world, it's part of our culture. Coupled with our eagerness to expand into our own system, it would give the Imperium a fresh, albeit relatively tiny pool of new labor forces and military forces. Now, the military I won't even touch on. We would love to believe ourselves to be far more tactically advanced, but we're not even close. We're nothing compared to what the Imperium has access to. So, yeah. Now, this next part is a bit odd, but I'll explain. So the next part is the use of our moon, Luna. It would be a considerable asset given how many raw resources it would have just from 10,000 years alone, or more than 10,000 years. I think this would be more like 40 frickin' thousand years. No, not even. 30-something thousand years. Because we're going to be focusing this in the Golden Age. Of resources impacting it. Just the raw extra solar resources. Anyway, though I think going back to the idea that this is a near replica of the 40K Sol is a bit more of an interesting point. Let's imagine this. There are so many nobles and noble houses in the Imperium alone, just the wide-scale Imperium, that they would actually wage small private wars just to have the right to claim such a system, or at least claim the rights to settle inside of it. Now, while many of you might not think it, the Imperium does not bring everybody into the same faction and force them to play nice. There will still be wars, internal and such, but provided this isn't a joint Mechanicus and administratum claim, the system would be up for grabs by whomever wants to fight for it. In the end, however, I think they'd all settle for buying plots on Luna itself. It's quite a prestigious point, and possibly our Earth, again, prestigious. Something which would bring wealth and resources to build our own infrastructure and further our expansion. In short, our system would become a massive resource production chain just because it looks like the original cradle of humanity. Now, I'll address the questions which people are already typing or have typed in the comment section by now. What about our drone technology and our internet? To which I'll simply reply, not only are they relatively primitive compared to what the Imperium has, but they're also a bad idea on a galactic scale, where small chaos corruption can spread like a wildfire and practically end such devices. But as for the internet, that still exists in different forms all around the galaxy. The Mechanicus use their own noosphere. Some worlds utilize tablet technology with integration like we would do it nowadays. And with a far more robust version of the internet, I must add. And most ships have something similar as well. It depends on what you get it from, but nothing we have is really advanced compared to what the Imperium has. No, your computer is not going to wow the Mechanicus and usher in a new golden age. There are legitimate reasons for why some things are still done on paper, and why some things look still creepy as fuck. But that's another video. I hope to see you guys in the next video.